Things haven't been easy for the royal family lately, and from the looks of it, there's plenty of more trouble on the horizon for these folks. We're just here gearing ourselves up for all the drama that's about to come. Prince Harry's memoir is scheduled to release next year in January, and we know there's a lot about our new king in there. Without further ado, let's begin. First up, Prince Harry's upcoming memoir screams trouble for the new king. If you've been living under a rock all this time, then you should know that Prince Harry didn't exactly have a stable relationship with his father. It's something he's spoken up about indirectly ever since he broke away from the royal family. Now, we've got the release of his memoir to look forward to, and with what we've heard about King Charles and his parenting style, we just know there's going to be so much to dive into in this book. Even though writing about it and putting it out there has been unbelievably cathartic for the king's youngest son, we're sure the king won't be looking at it that way. And with how Charles threw a tantrum over a silly little fountain pen mishap, let's see how he reacts to the release of Harry's memoir. Up next, all that we've been told about Spare. For now, the only details we have about this memoir are that Harry's titled it Spare, which happens to be a play on the phrase the heir and the spare, and it's going to be released on January 10th, 2023. We just know the kind of frenzy this book's release will throw the tabloids and media outlets into. It's going to get pretty wild. Everyone reveres the royal family, but it's the drama that we keep our eyes open for. We've heard that putting this memoir out there has helped Harry with healing himself and come to unlearn all that he had been taught growing up. One of the central themes in the book happens to be how to find your own happiness. Harry frequently talked about living a life where you're trying to keep so many people content, to the point where you lose sight of yourself. In the end, sometimes you have to make the choice of choosing your own happiness. According to one source that's read the manuscript for the book ahead of its release, the memoir is a beautiful read, and a lot of readers will find themselves relating to Harry's story, even if they're no members of the royal family themselves. Now for what this royal correspondent had to say about the upcoming memoir. We also had a royal correspondent for Telegraph, the British newspaper, talk about the upcoming memoir. Victoria Ward discussed how Spare has brought a great deal of catharsis to Prince Harry. As you all know, the Duke of Sussex didn't exactly have an easy childhood. With Princess Diana's death and the extended media coverage of her life, the constant public scrutiny must have been incredibly hard to deal with growing up for Harry. He was especially close to his mother, and things never had been smooth sailing between him and King Charles. With all of that in mind, the Duke knew exactly what he was doing when he started work on this memoir. According to Victoria, tensions between father and son have already been pretty high. There's no secret how intense things have been for the royal family. Victoria believes any attempt at trying to go for a truce would have been pretty useless at this point, because of how much of a divide there is between them already. It's hard to bring about reconciliations in fractured relationships like these. In light of that, Prince Harry's being praised for his courage to come forward with his story. Moving on, here's the situation at Buckingham Palace ahead of the memoir's release. With the book's release only 2 months away, you can imagine what the situation must be like at Buckingham Palace. If anything, they better be prepared to deal with what's about to come their way. We've all seen the way the royal family tries to keep everything under wraps. Right now, they're pretty nervous because none of them were allowed a sneak peek of the book ahead of its release. So even though there's been speculation about what Harry has put inside that memoir, they don't know the details, and that's sure to keep them on their toes. They're not the only ones on the edge of their seats though. We are as well, but obviously for completely different reasons. When the curtain parts, it's sure to give us quite a view of the stage that is the royal family's secrets. What's more, there's the whole thing about Harry's children not being titled yet. To add more to the drama, there's the fact that neither of the Duke's 2 youngest children have received their titles yet. Talk about being petty, huh? Even though it's not being discussed all that much in the media as of now, people have still raised questions about how, with Charles as king, young Archie and Lilibet should be given their official prince and princess titles. The delay with this has everyone wondering if it's just to add to the growing rift between father and son. Someone close to Charles told royal biographer Katie Nicholl that the whole title thing depends on how events unfold in the next few months. With the memoir's release on the horizon, we know things are just going to get even shakier for this family. Seeing how that goes, it's likely we're not going to hear anything about Harry's youngest kids receiving their royal titles. Let's talk about all the revisions the memoir went through before its final draft. The other concerning thing about this memoir is how we've heard that the Duke was asked to revise it multiple times. When Harry submitted the first draft to his publisher, Penguin Random House, they sent it back to him, asking for certain revisions to be made. People have reason to believe that maybe the 38-year-old had to include certain details he otherwise wouldn't have, and it's all been done for the sake of stirring up some public drama. We know things haven't been all that well between Harry and his family, and with a book that details why he shunned his royal duties, you can only expect the storm to rage even harder. Coming up, should we be preparing ourselves for some royal drama? Already, the unveiling of the book's title and cover has thrown so many media outlets into a frenzy. They're all speculating about the book's contents and all the drama that's about to unfold. While some are applauding Harry for having the strength to step forward with his story, we've also got people showing their sympathy for the royal family, because they must have their lawyers ready to tackle all that's about to be thrown their way. Next, it's impossible to talk about the royal family without bringing up the Netflix series The Crown. How could we forget to mention The Crown? There's a new season coming up in a couple of days, and when it comes to capturing the highs and lows of the British royal family, this Netflix series does it best. We've talked about the memoir and all the trouble it's going to spell for the royals in the coming months. Let's take a break from that and dive into this latest bit related to the hit Netflix series. Following up, actor Dominic West went through the trouble of sending then Prince Charles a letter. Dominic West did quite an amazing job portraying King Charles in The Crown, and all of us were wowed by his performance. That man delivered his best in all of his scenes, and we've got to tell you, it was nothing short of impressive. We bet you didn't know that the English actor is actually kind of close to the royal family. He's been serving as an ambassador for the Prince's Trust, which Charles founded way back in 1976. When West was offered the role to play then Prince Charles, he actually went through the trouble of reaching out to the now 73-year-old monarch in a letter. West detailed how he'll be portraying Charles in the series, and if the then prince wishes, West would resign from his duties at Charles's charity. Not to mention, Charles even took the time to send out a reply to West. You wouldn't expect Charles to indulge in anything related to the crown, but surprisingly, according to West, the 73-year-old actually gave the actor a reply. Appearing on Radio Times, West shared all the details about this little story and went on to talk about how Charles had no problem with the actor playing him in the series, because he understands that West is an actor and it's just what he has to do. What's more, Charles even rejected West's resignation. Last but not least, how the upcoming season of The Crown could be too much for King Charles. Talking about The Crown, are you guys excited for the new season's premiere on November 9th? We bet King Charles is definitely not looking forward to it at all, considering how the latest season is going to go through all the details about Charles's marriage to Diana, and the way it all broke down. The man just got the throne and he's already got so much on his plate, huh? That's a wrap for this video. Are you going to read Harry's upcoming memoir? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.